After that, Han tells him that it will be wise to take care of himself for now, and questions where he plans on training, as it'll be hard to avoid attention wherever he goes. Well, it turns out that our genius fella finds himself the perfect hidden spot for training, the sanctum, where goddess Vega resides. Vega begins the training and asks which skill he would like to learn first. Meanwhile, Ojin thinks that teaching verbally won't help him, so he requests Vega to spar with him, but the goddess instantly refuses, saying that it's not possible, and clarifying that he might end up dead because of their difference in power. Ojin asks her if she can't control her strength, to which Vega affirms that even at her weakest, it'll be risky. Getting a reality check, Ojin ponders that he got cocky and forgot how strong she is because his relationship with her has been so casual. Thinking about it, the goddess finds a way to spar with Ojin, revealing that she can't spar with him herself but her spirit can, which is kind of a summoned being that possesses a part of her soul. At that moment, she summons her servant Lyric and a wolf appears, bowing to Lady Vega. Clearing his throat, Ojin seems to be in love with Lyric, saying that it's been so long. Meanwhile, the wolf is confused with this weirdo. The goddess assures Lyric that he's a regressor from the future, while Lyric is surprised to see that he's the unheavenly star. Vega tells him that he will see once enough time passes. She informs the wolf that she has summoned him to spar with Ojin, and while Lyric Loki thinks that how unqualified this is, he agrees to do it as it's Lady Vega's order. As the wolf Lyric prepares himself for the fight, our boy seems to know that he can't win against him but at least endure an attack or two. That's when Lyric, at a light speed, strikes a punch at Ojin, crashing him hard on the ground. While our poor guy can't process what just happened, Lyric approaches him for another attack, asking if that is all he can muster up. The next scene takes us to 2 months later, where Ojin continues with his training with Lyric, and we witness our guy running away from the wolf with a spear gun as he chases him. As Lyric catches up to Ojin in no time, the boy says that it's time out, but the wolf clarifies that there's no such thing in a battle and smacks Ojin, smashing him on the ground. Lying down while his entire body hurts, he presumes that he doesn't even last a minute every time, wondering if he's even getting better. Even though his powers, Spear Lighting and Thunderbolt, do level up one by one each, but that didn't seem not enough. In the meantime, Lyric tells him to fight once again, but Ojin stops him, asking if they can fight like in a real battle, as sparring and real fights are different, so he wants to make it as close to a real fight as possible. Listening to this, Lyric states that it's possible if Lady Vega uses her divine sanctuary, where she can manipulate the laws of physics to her will. Even if Ojin were to die, she can revive him right away. Taking this matter to the goddess, she strongly refuses to use her divine sanctuary, justifying that she can revive Ojin from death using her power. But she cannot eliminate the pain and shock that come with death, and concludes that he might not be able to handle it. A strike of fear and doubt runs through Ojin as he couldn't imagine what death would feel like. But he decides to take the risk and pleads with the goddess to use it. Concerned, Vega confirms that he won't regret his decision, saying that she wouldn't even have brought this up if she was going to. Just then, she warns Ojin to be careful and uses the divine sanctuary. Meanwhile, the goddess opens the divine sanctuary. Lyric seems to have concerns about Ojin as he determines that he has watched this human for 2 months, but he's way too weak to be the unheavenly star. Clenching his fist, the wolf wonders if this guy will protect Lady Vega from fate, finding it impossible, and wishes to see him fall pathetically in the face of death. Just like that, Lyric kinda warns our guy to experience the real battle that he's been waiting for. Panic stiffens. Ojin gets anxious as he's never felt this fear or bloodlust before and can't even breathe properly. He witnesses Lyric's true power, and realizes that he actually intends to kill him as the aura feels dangerous as hell. Strange enough, Ojin rather feels excited by that fact and waits for Lyric to attack. But our boy decides to go first and leaps towards him with the spear. As the wolf dodges his attack because it was too obvious, it appears that Ojin banging his spear on the ground was actually a fake move. Just like that, our main character makes a backflip and attacks Lyric, using spear lighting. But Lyric doesn't seem to be affected by the attack and kicks Ojin, leaving him off guard. As our boy falls to the ground, the wolf leaps towards him to see if he still has that courage even after death. With the power so intense, Lyric without hesitation pierces his claw across his guts, and that's when the blood starts dripping like a waterfall. Witnessing Ojin's death, Vega screams and our boy eventually takes his last breath as he watches the goddess. After that, the goddess revives him, and Ojin comes back to life once again. Meanwhile, Lyric asks him if he realizes what a rash decision it was, and Ojin trembles with pain. The wolf asks him for how long he will be able to endure the pain of death, and our boy manages to get up, aiming his spear at Lyric. As Lyric is surprised to see that he's still going to attack and is not as weak as he thought, he doesn't go easy on him and stabs him several times, tearing his body apart. Well, it looks like Ojin is drained after experiencing death multiple times, while Lyric reveals that he is also a disciple of Lyra, so something like depth charge won't even scratch him. It turns out that our main character doesn't seem to give up yet, as he ponders if Lyra alone is not enough. He's going to connect the Lyra's stigma to Strix's stigma, making a combined skill. That's when Ojin makes a stronger comeback and starts shooting lightning arrows toward Lyric, making his Lyra's stigma level up to become a 4-star. For the first time, Lyric is taken aback by his power, realizing that none of the techniques of Lyra's stigma is capable of that kind of thing, which means Ojin just made that up on the spot, leaving him to wonder how he did that when only he awakened recently. Quivering with anger, Lyric beats the crap out of him and states that he's nothing more than a human. Our poor fella gets banged once again while the wolf mocks him that he can't change with just talent. He goes for another attack to give Ojin hell once again. However, at that moment, Vega stops him and defends her disciple as she jumps in between. While Ojin lies unconscious, the goddess talks to Lyric, saying she understands how he feels, and the sudden appearance of this child was an immense shock to him, since Lyric had been stuck in the same position for ages due to a wall. Infuriated, Vega still cannot hide her disappointment in his lack of self-restraint, and the wolf apologizes to her. Just when the goddess waits for her child to wake up, suddenly, Ojin gets back up again, and with a drop-dead serious look in his eyes, he asks Lyric if they can fight again. It seems like our guy has lost it as he challenges the wolf to fight while Lyric is left in disbelief, wondering if he's even human. Acting weird, Ojin approaches the wolf and mutters that they're not done yet. Panicked, Lyric is scared stiff to think how he can move, and concludes that he's not in his right mind at the moment, believing it's an obsession, an insanity beyond any other human emotion. Being out of his mind, our boy seems determined to fight, and that's when Vega interrupts, clarifying that she asked them to stop. Hearing her voice, Ojin comes to his senses and the goddess seems upset with these two, saying they're both too rash. Our boy apologizes to her and justifies that he lost his mind for a second, while the goddess looks very worried about him, calling him a bad child. But Ojin promises her that he'll be careful from now on, and Vega leans in for a pinky promise, leaving our boy wondering where she learned it. Nonetheless, Lyric decides to trust Ojin and contemplates that this human has a talent that allows him to create talent, but his talents aren't his most terrifying trait, adding that talent means nothing when one comes across a wall. Not being afraid of death isn't something that can stem from just determination, and Ojin looked raving mad. The wolf realizes that he can't surpass him neither in will nor in talent, so it's his complete loss. Peeking at Ojin, he then wishes for the unheavenly star to protect the light of the weaving woman star from the black heaven's darkness. The next scene switches to a month later when Ojin enters the association and greets the team leader Han after 3 months. Smiling, Han reveals that he's no longer a team leader and has been promoted to become a chief administrative officer thanks to our boy. Ojin then tells him to treat him to a meal and both of them go out to get lunch together. Reaching the Korean beef restaurant, Han tells him to order as he wants, and our boy, who is bursting with joy, orders the whole menu. While Han laughs it off and Loki sweats to spend this of his money, he asks Ojin if got what he wanted from the training. Enjoying his food, our boy reveals that he's become a 4-star, which leaves Han in utter shock. As he is amazed that Ojin managed to do this in 3 months, he further assumes that he has Lyra's stigma, so the stronger the stigma is, the harder it is to level up, adding that even the Great Dippers weren't this fast. Flattered, our fellow feels the need to do at least this much as a rookie receiving all the public's eyes, while Han thanks for bringing a great fortune into the association. While they're cooking the beef, Ojin asks him if something notable happened during the last 3 months. At that moment, Han discloses a gate rupture incident near Sokcho that caused a big problem because the monsters that spilled out of the gate weren't any ordinary monsters. Listening to this, our boy stops chewing, and Han reminds him about the increase in mutations of monsters all over the world, stating that there were too many of them that they officially had to decide on a new one for them. He further informs that the monsters are running rampant through the city center of Sokcho, which is pretty serious, and they're assuming that there are at least thousands of them. With that, Han reveals that they've built the raid team for this reason, and they're getting paid quite a bit too. Depending on the rank of the monster, they can get from 1 million to 3 million won per monster, plus the mer crystals they get from the monsters aren't factored into that price. Upon hearing such important info, Ojin reckons that it's not bad at all, and now that he has fixed Han's eye, he wants to eat all kinds of foods with her and treat her to other fun things. Without any reluctance, he asks the chief if it's possible for him to join the raid team too, and to his surprise, Han lets out that he was going to offer this to him either way, but missed the timing. He informs Ojin that the raid team will be leaving in the morning 2 days from now, and our guy couldn't be happier, saying that it's perfect timing. Joking around, Han anticipates how everyone will talk about the Lightning Wolf joining the raid team now, and our guy teases him, uttering that he should eat more since he needs to work hard. After that, Ojin gets back home and witnesses Hyun training, assuming that she must have been training all day. Immersed in her training, Song incredibly controls the power of fire, controlling her stigma perfectly, while our boy is left in awe to see how strong she actually is, as back then he only thought of her skills as fancy, but now he gets it. As Song catches him staring at her, Ojin tells her that she's gotten much better, and she responds that she hasn't completely recovered yet though. While our boy asks her about the eyes, Song lets out that it's a bit annoying to have one eye covered up, but it's not a big deal, although it looks a bit creepy. Just then, she asks Ojin if he wants to get some food, and he informs her that he just got treated to some Korean barbecue. Pissed off, Song lashes out as he eats on his own, but our boy promises to go get some once his job is over. Curious to hear about his new job, Ojin reveals that he decided to be part of the raid team for the Socho monster appearance incident, adding that he'll be gone for a few days. Hearing this, Han confesses that she wants to go with him too. The scene then switches to Socho raid mission day 1, where we witness Hyun and Ojin arriving at the scene. They peek at the chaos in the area, and Ojin guesses that the monsters made it to the downtown area. As Song asks if the civilians have evacuated, she looks at the crowd from a distance and goes to check out. Well, the crowd emerges to a bunch of reporters, and one of them interviews the star of the Peace Guild about the mindset they're going into this mission with. The Star Peace Guild claims that they prioritize the peace of the nation's people and promise to get rid of all evil. Song and Ojin walk towards the crowd, and that's when the reporters get frantic, witnessing the lighting wolf. But our guy doesn't take this well and lashes out at them, muttering that there might be people who have yet to evacuate and questions if this is the place or time to be doing interviews. He tells the reporters to get out of the way as he's busy, and they are obsessed with the lighting wolf being so straightforward and compassionate. As the reporters find a good topic for their articles, Song lets out that he sure is good with the press, and Ojin, taking the compliment, responds that he lived off of verbal manipulation after all. Later, a guy announces that they're forming groups of 3 for the raid, while Song and Ojin decide to find one more person for their team. Shortly, someone calls out Ojin, addressing him as the lighting wolf, and offers to be at a party with him. The guy turns out to be Park Chang-hyun, a disciple of Taurus, with armor and hammer in possession. Looking at Park, our guy recalls that he was one of the awakened present there when he invaded the Dark Star Society, concluding that his skill level is guaranteed. Meanwhile, Chung-hyun energetically introduces himself, revealing that he's with the Valhalla Guild, and tells Ojin that he has known him ever since the Seoul Station incident. Our guy then asks him about how Lee Woo-yuk is doing these days, and Park lets him know that the guildmaster is really busy trying to investigate the Dark Star Society. This makes Ojin ponder that Lee has yet to find conclusive evidence, and believes that he needs more than just a piece of contact information to expose a whole organization that is focused on being underground. After that, Song looks at their team's new member, introducing herself as Draco's disciple, and assures Park that he can talk to her casually. In the meantime, a guy approaches them and asks Ojin if he remembers him, calling him son of a bitch. While our guy is confused as hell and tries his best to remember who he is, the guy reminds the bastard that he's Park Jung-woo from Pandanus Guild. Just then, Ojin gets reminded that he's the egotistical testicle from the association and asks Jung-woo if he greeted his guildmaster for him. As Park freaks out, knowing how big of a liar he is, at that moment, a guy tries to calm him down. To Ojin's surprise, the guy turns out to be Choi Jung-chol, the same guy who harassed Song at the auction. Encountering him, our boy wonders what he's doing here and catches a glimpse of his team member with a scorpion tattoo that is a symbol of the Pandanus Guild. Witnessing the same symbol on Choi's neck, Ojin burns him to a crisp as he asks Choi about his previous guild. It appears that Ojin did snitch on him to Hanjuman and guesses that his guild found out about it. After that, Choi reveals that he was kicked out for breaking the guild's rules thanks to Ojin, but he was able to find a better guild, adding that there's more demand for Aquarius stigmas. Meanwhile, he informs Ojin that he will be able to witness something real fun soon, and that he should look forward to their next reunion. Pissed off, Jung-woo shows him a middle finger. As they leave, Ojin smirks as he recalls what Choi said and thinks that he should be careful of what he says. Well, it looks like our boy has something in mind, as he presumes that he memorized Choi Jung-shil's smell with the Canes Venatici's stigma and feels great that they met, as he wanted to get Aquarius's stigma. Eventually, he plans on taking care of the tattooed bastards, thinking that it's best to get rid of all evil. With an evil plot in mind, our guy smirks and reckons that it's given that there will be deaths during a raid mission. Later, Ojin and his team are fighting with the monster, and while it tries to run away, Song assures to leave it to them, and using her firepower, she burns the monster from a distance. Letting out a sigh, Chung-yun lets out that each one of these monsters is a real pain in the ass, guessing that they must be at least 6 stars. Meanwhile, Song thinks that monsters are all weak despite being really hard to capture. Ojin finds it suspicious as he ruminates that the raid itself is smooth sailing. But there's something off about the monsters. Speculating they're all running in the same direction as if they're trying to lure them to something. Suddenly they all hear someone screaming and Ojin rushes towards the voice as he realizes that it is Park Jungwoo. He witnesses Park bleeding to death as a monster seems to have attacked him real bad. While our boy wonders what kind of monster would have done, he sees Changhyun and Haeyoon running to him. Knowing that Han has the potions, Ojin discovers that Park's injuries are way too deep to be healed by potions, concluding that it'd be a waste to use potions on him. Just then, Youngwoo tries to speak something and our boy tries to listen to what he's whispering. However, before the poor guy can say anything, he stops breathing. At that moment, Ojin informs his teammates that the guy is dead and he is disappointed that he died before he could get anything out of him. Trying to act nice, Ojin reveals that he once got into an argument with Youngwoo at the association registration office, and they weren't on good terms, but he doesn't feel good that he died. Keeping up his image, he justifies that they don't have time to recover his body right now, so he closes his eyes. In reality, Ojin is actually absorbing Park's Scorpio stigma that allows him to freely manipulate poison, as well as immensely raise his agility, great for the assassin class. While Haeyoon and Changhyun appear to be sad about his death, our guy cleverly absorbs the stigma without being noticed thanks to the dark secret trait, and also maintains his image in front of everyone. Thinking that he won't have to try too hard to cover it up from now on, Ojin commands his team to get going. In the meantime, they fight off monsters, and Haeyeon mutters that these monsters are good at running away as one of them tries to escape. As she is about to burn it with her power, Ojin stops her and decides to follow it. Feeling that something is off, following the monster, Haeyeon also seems to have noticed them, and our guy speculates that these monsters are sporadically appearing despite having taken over the city. They run away toward the city center once it gets disadvantageous for them in a fight, surmising that they're definitely luring them towards something. Ojin wonders if this is why Choi Jung-shil went in that direction and abruptly commands his team members to stop chasing the monsters. He explains to Changhyun that the monsters have been luring them toward the city center all this time, while the guy is shocked to think if these monsters are smart enough to do something like that. Anyways, Ojin thinks that it'd be best if they do not pursue them any further and decide to turn back. However, our guy can't seem to miss the opportunity for Aquarius's stigma, and informs Haeyoon and Changhyun that he'll let the other groups know that the monsters are luring them. Just then, Changhyun tells him that he'll go with him, but our boy refuses, saying that he will go on his own as he can escape the fastest if anything were to happen. After Haeyeon makes a pinky promise with Ojin to run as soon as something feels off, our guy glides away with his spear gun, ensuring them that he'll get in touch later. The scene then switches to Choi Jung-shil, where he commands the monsters to lure the awakened toward the city center. Putting on a devilish smirk, Choi can't seem to believe the fact that he's controlling monsters as he holds a crystal ball in his hands, and even that is only a small portion of his power. He recalls how he went to the Pandanus Guild, thinking of it as his last hope. But it turns out that Ashad Khan, a high-class member of Dark Star Society, takes him in and orders Choi to do as he says. After that, we are revealed that the predator Choi Jung-shil is an infamous criminal who raped more than 300 women in past life. While Ojin reveals all this to Vega as he wants to get rid of the future evil, this doesn't sit well with the goddess to make someone pay for sins they've yet to commit. Our guy makes the goddess believe that according to Choi's confessions in his past life, he's done it a very long time ago, as it appears that Vega is having a hard time trusting him. Ojin realizes that she's believing him right away, like with Lee Shin-yuk, so he'll have to make up some evidence to show her later. Coming to the present scene, our guy finally spots Choi and tries to make him show what his trump card is. Meanwhile, Choi panics as he asks him what he's doing here. Our main character makes an entry along with the goddess and catches him off guard, uttering that he knows what he's hiding. As Ojin appears to be serious as ever, the guy Choi loses his shit, thinking how he came to know as he made sure to hide it the best he could. Well, it looks like our guy once again manages to make a fool out of him as Choi is frightened to death, and even Ojin himself is surprised as he wonders what the hell is going on. Shaking it off, Choi snaps out of it and puts on a devilish smirk, asserting that it's actually good that Ojin is here alone, saying that he coincidentally came across a good constellation and got on a high horse. The guy thinks that it's unfair, and with that, he plans to eliminate Ojin just as the Dark Star wishes. Using his crystal ball, Jung-shil calls all the monsters to attack Ojin, fooled by our main character. Choi lets out that he doesn't know how he found out that he became a part of the Dark Star Society. He tells Ojin that he will have to face the consequences for coming here on his own. On the other hand, Ojin is utterly clueless as wonders what the hell this situation is and is left in disbelief to know that Choi is part of Dark Star Society. At that moment, our guy asks Vega to bless him given that the situation is unexpected. But the goddess apologizes to him and expresses that she was a bit pressured by the idea of eliminating a future evil, thinking that she should be the one to trust and support him. Vega doubted him until she saw for herself how evil this man was, and gave her blessing to Ojin, telling him to rewrite the pages of fate with his powers once again. Getting the goddess's blessing, our boy feels completely different from the time he was blessed at the Mokdong Gate, believing that it's because he's much stronger now, assuring that he will get it over with. Ojin jumps in, charged with more power now. He strikes the monsters in midair. He impressively annihilates the monsters, and is amazed to see that now he can create lighting in midair, finding it cool. Suddenly the ground where he's standing starts shaking and a giant monster appears from within the ground. Escaping the monster, Ojin thinks that these monsters are trying too hard. And with that, he tosses out multiple wires from the spear gun and iconically annihilates the mantis monsters from lightning through the wires, wiping out several monsters at once. Witnessing the electrocuted monsters, Choi freaks out as he thinks how a 3-star awakened can pull this off. But Ojin corrects him that he's a 4-star now, and a strike of terror runs through the guy. As he frantically starts panicking and holding his crystal ball, he commands the monsters to rip Ojin to pieces already. Going berserk, Choi starts scratching his face and it starts to bleed while his partner tries to calm him down, trying to make him understand that they will fail the plan if he acts like this. Scared shitless, Choi shouts at him, saying fuck the goddamn plan, and asks him if he can't see that piece of shit smiling, referring to Ojin. At that moment, Jang Chol, who's not in his right mind, chokes the bald guy and orders him to quickly kill that bastard. Watching this, even Ojin is shocked to see what's wrong with him, assuming it's because of the thing in his hand. Abruptly, a bunch of monsters begin to pop out and surround Ojin. While he thinks of getting rid of them, Vega appears to be in pain and asks him if he's doing all right. He informs the goddess that it's going to take a while and realizes that Vega is reaching her limit too. While Ojin is tearing the monsters apart, suddenly, a monster attacks him from behind, biting his shoulder. As our boy starts bleeding, he kills the monster with the spear. To his surprise, another one appears in front of him, and Ojin, being injured, thinks that it's dangerous. Just then, someone starts burning the monsters to death, and it comes about that Hyun along with Chang Hyun comes to his rescue, reminding him that he promised her not to get hurt. Stopping our guy from fighting further, Haeon tells Ojin that they've contacted raid teams and they will get here soon, so they just need to stall time. Revealing her dragon eye, she utters that she didn't want to use it since she is not used to it yet, clarifying that she's a lot more experienced than Ojin as an awakened, so she can't just hide behind his back all the time. Getting a lot more powerful, Haeon creates the fire with the power of Dragon Eye and makes the monsters pay for putting their hands on what's hers. Haeon directs the dragon fire and it incredibly burns the mantis monsters. Looking at how the girl is controlling fire effortlessly, Ojin is amazed to see the power of the dragon's eye as the fire's moving as if it's alive. Coming beside Haeon, our guy teases her for calling him mine, saying that others would think it was her own shoulder that was hurt. The girl confesses that what's his is hers and asks him not to get hurt without her permission again, making Ojin smile. Just then, the three of them get into action and fight off the relentless monsters. In the meantime, the other raid teams arrive at the scene and are taken aback by the large amount of monsters. Meanwhile, they witness the lightning wolf. They're even more astonished to think that those three, Hyun, Chang Hyun, and Ojin, were fighting off all these monsters on their own until now. Soon after, the raid teams jump in to help them fight the monsters, while Ojin is happy to see that they have an upper hand now. Suddenly, his eyes land on Choi Jung-chul, who's acting very strange, and at that moment, he madly starts scratching his face with his nails. Acting psychotic, Choi's eyes get weird and he starts mumbling that he did everything he told me to. Shouting why he isn't dead, his eyes turn red, going insane, while Ojin is baffled as he thinks about what's wrong with the bastard. Our guy guesses that it looks like Choi's mind has been completely taken over by that relic, and wonders what he might do if he just leaves him alone. He plans to eliminate the guy while he still has the chance and runs toward Choi, aiming his lightning spear at him. As soon as he is about to stab the spear, in a flash, the relic in Jungshul's hand shatters, and a powerful black energy bursts out of it, making Ojin crash away. Eventually, the black energy gets too big like a thunderstorm that even makes the building fall. While the people panic, what Ojin witnesses scares the hell out of him. It appears that Choi transforms into a monster. A very terrifying one at that. As the guy himself doesn't even know what's happening to him, he completely turns into a mantis monster. Peeking at a human becoming a monster, Ojin gets back up and tells Vega to hold on a little longer. Just as he is about to go for an attack, the goddess apologizes to him that she can't help him anymore, as she surpasses her time limit and disappears. While Vega goes back to her realm, her blessing is no longer in effect, which means that now Ojin does not possess the power. On the other hand, Choi, the monster, mercilessly starts killing people, piercing the sharp spine-like legs through them. To make matter worse, his attack doesn't kill them but actually turns them into monsters as well. This creates chaos among the other people as they wonder how this is possible, while our guy presumes that he needs to get rid of them. Shortly, something comes to his mind and he speculates that the black aura from that sphere has been connected to Choi Jong-chil this entire time, which leads him to think that there must be an energy source somewhere. Trying to find the source, Ojin asks Haeun for a favor, instructing her to go to the other side and destroy whatever the source of that aura is. Meanwhile, our guy tells her that it's very important. Haeun seems worried about him and says that she's going to be really mad if he breaks her promise again, but Ojin assures her that he made a promise to none other than his Nuna, so he'll keep the promise. Looking at the monster who seems entirely impossible to kill, our guy smiles and whispers that he'll keep the promise if he can. Confronting each other, Choi asks him if he's ready to fight while our guy thinks about why he has so many damn questions. Showing him the middle finger, Ojin responds that even his mom doesn't know why she gave birth to him, asking if he expects him to know that too. This makes the mantis go mad as he attacks our guy with his snake-like sharp tail. While Ojin dodges the attack by an inch and realizes that he's quick, he braces himself and concludes that compared to Lyric, he's a joke. Just then, he moves along the mantis to find the perfect spot to hit, and eventually aims his spear. However, Ojin can't seem to pierce through his skin. That's when the monster traps Ojin into his tail, trapping him. While our boy struggles to release himself, he uses his power depth charge that strikes the monster and he immediately jumps out. Choi, the mantis monster, appears to be in pain, which makes him even more frantic as he rapidly attacks Ojin with his claws, which makes our guy hard to fight at once. With not enough firepower, Ojin barely keeps up with the monster and ruminates what he should do as he has a lot of mana left, but it's impossible to use it all at once. It's like drawing water from a dam with a straw. He surmises that he can't win at this rate and wishes to have the goddess's blessings as he wouldn't have been so helpless.